Okay, let me reiterate the full example. We are looking at a MAC, multiply, accumulate for 100 clock cycles to understand the principles in controlled data path design. So intention is, in a controlled data path design, you have to split the data paths and control circuitry clearly. Yes, depending upon the kind of logic that you are adopting to generate the control signals, you have to see the effect of control signal comes in which particular stage in your data path. We are going to work out with this example. Let me explain this. This is implementing an equation. Maybe what I write that equation here, I want to call it as a Z, which is the final output comes over here, is sigma I is equal to 1 to 100 x of I y of I. Simple math equation, which is a typical FIR filter kind of thing. Now, this is the data path. So what data path consists of? Assume x and y are coming from unregistered sources, means they are not registered, so you may register them initially. But if there are already outputs of 2 registers, there is no need of these blocks. Okay, let's keep aside. Given to multiplier, adder, and a mux. Multiplier, you know, it is computing x, y, y. The purpose of adder is previous value of this one should be added with current. That's what meaning of sigma. Okay, that is the purpose of adder. This mux, what it has to do after 100 additions, after 100 times adding the product, you have to make 0 for the next cycle of addition. To switch between whether it is accumulation or initialization, you have the start signal. So when start is equal to 1, 0 gets loaded into the register. Then onwards it will keep adding for 100 clock cycles. That's what happens. Now this register output is fluctuating. In the sense, instead of giving the final 100th product to some Z, it is going to show incremental outputs also. Like first x0, x1, y1 will come on Z. In next clock cycle, x1, y1 plus x2, y2 will come on Z. In next clock cycle, x1, y1 plus x2, y2 plus x3, y3 will come on Z. You don't want all of those intermediate sums to be given. So you have to put one more register, and that one more register you enable in such a way that after 100 cycles sum is over, then you enable that. You got it? Yes. Then only the output will come one-time value. The value will, after complete all 100 products are summed up, you get one-time value, and that value will not change for next 100 clock cycles. Then again you get one value that will be stable for 100 clock cycles, because every value to give it takes 100 clock cycles. You are clear now? Now let's talk into detailed timing of this. Now, this is a data path laid out. Now to control this data path, you have 2 signals, start and enable. Okay. So one thing you may want to do is, you give simply this Z and enable to next logic, instead of putting one more register here, which is unnecessary resource. Because when it is logical to actually queue up registers, whenever you have a combination logic. So the appropriate thing is, every 2 registers should see some combination logic in between. Okay. So instead of thinking that why to actually give this one here, let the continuously growing Z also to be seen by the external block, but no problem because I am giving output enable. That also another way of thinking. Okay. Or if this output enable is only implemented by you, then there is no need of giving output enable. Give only Z. Okay. Anyhow, that's a these are kind of top level entity view of your design. Okay. Now, what is that we want to do now? We want to build a controller for this. So we have taken a counter. So how many bits you need to implement this? You need 7-bit counter, because mod 2 power 7 is 128 and 2 power 6 is 64. So I need 7 bits minimum to implement mod 100 counter. Mod 100 counter means it goes from 0 to 99. So this 0 to 99 count is compared by comparator. This comparator is comparing this counter output is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. When it is equal to 0, it goes this enable signal high. You got it? Now this enable signal, which I am concluding that same signal can become start and enable. Let me explain how it is. Okay. Now what I am going to do now, this when the count is equal to 0, the start goes high. So I want to get into the details of timing. So let's take the registers which I am using in all this. They have these characteristics. Setup time is equal to 1 nanosecond. Clock to output is 2 nanosecond. Hold time is equal to 0.5 nanosecond. Now, if that is a clock and you are getting the rising edges of the clock at 0 nanosecond, 10 nanosecond, 20 nanosecond and 30 nanosecond, then the counter output will go 0, 1, 2, 3. But I know when it will go 0. It will go 0 at 2 nanoseconds because clock to output is 2. Okay? And it will go 1 at 12 nanoseconds. Now if I have a comparator which is comparing this, but comparator also will have some delay, combinational delay. Let us assume that is 0.5 nanosecond. That 0.5 nanosecond gets added to this, and then start signal, when you look, it goes between 2.5 to 12.5 nanosecond height. Now this start is given to mux. So this mux also has got some delay. Let's assume that is 0.5 nanosecond. That 0.5 nanosecond added to this, then that goes to 3 to 30 nanoseconds. So during 3 to 30 nanoseconds, this intermediate signal, mux output P, which I am calling, is 0. Rest of all the time it is going to have some products or sums of products, something like that. So 3 to 30 nanosecond, now understand, 3 to 30 nanosecond means, now you know very well, this flip-flop is only sensitive around the rising edges. What is the exact time duration over which it is sensitive for the first time rising edge? Minus 0.5 nanosecond to 1 nanosecond, because hold time before 0 nanosecond before hold time. So minus 0.5 to 1 nanosecond here, and the next here is 9 nanosecond to, not 9.5 nanosecond to, sorry, setup is before, right? Sorry, I was quoting a wrong example. Setup is before, I am sorry. Minus 1 nanosecond to 0.5 nanosecond here, and 9 nanosecond to 10.5 nanoseconds. Then you can make out that this P signal is switching like this. You got it? So, in which clock cycle, in which state you would see this output of flip-flop 0? You will see only in state 1. You got it? Not in actually state 0. Because during the state 0, when this flip-flop is sensing, that is minus 1 to 0.5, minus 1 to 0.5, it is seeing the accumulated sum only. It is not seeing what 0. 0 is seen actually at this edge by this flip-flop. So at what time this will become actually 0? At 12 nanoseconds, because clock output is 12. Yes. Got it? So what I am saying now, if you keep allowing like that, so you made 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, all the states go like this. By the time state becomes 99, see, it will come like a cycle, right? It will be 99 here. You got it? By 99, you have done actually the 99 sums. When this is 0, you are actually adding the 100th sum. You got it? So that 100th, whatever the value is there, that will be present over here. So what I am saying is, same start signal can be enabled signal. Simultaneously, in one clock cycle, when you are clearing this, at the same time its output you are loading there. That's what right in the first class I was telling, never confuse. When you are pushing 0 over here, don't be concerned that the 0 will go here. It will not go. A thumb rule kind of thing which I wanted people to remember, that logic can only move across one register stage in one clock cycle. The 0 that you have fed here, which is going to appear over here at 12 nanoseconds, that same 0 cannot go here at 12 nanoseconds. You got the point? During the setup hold window, which is 9 nanosecond to 10.5 nanosecond, by the time 100 clock cycles are over, then here the final 100 clock cycle accumulated sum is present. You got it? Yes. That you are going to load over here. Okay? This is how it works. So a simple example of this data path and control. If you write the coding of it, do timing analysis, and take an exercise of pipelining. See what is the total combinational delay over here? This total blocks are combinational. Multiplier, adder, mux. I was only looking into this direction. But that is one. You know, already we discussed. When you have multiple paths between two registers, you have to take worst case path. Definitely this won't be worst case because only a comparator and a mux. This will be worst case. So one assignment that we are going to do in our coding is we insert basically another one register stage here to improve the what's called pipelining and all. So all that we are going to discuss. Okay.